Hey, what's up, and welcome to my corner of the internet. Welcome to this glorious Friday. I'm gonna just let you know, please like, comment, and subscribe. Today is my last class day of a 4-year journey. I am just overjoyed to be able to tell you this wonderful news, and man, we're graduating, and I'm glad to just share that with you. But anyway, let's get to the video.
これを今日の昼飯にしてみよう。
There is no stretch of the imagination that Dungeon Meshi is probably one of the best animes to come out. And it's still continuing. I didn't want to make a video on it because it's still continuing and I wanted to wait until it ended. But I feel like this is a good place to talk about it and at least put my video out about one of the best animes. Dungeon Meshi is an adventure, cooking, fantasy comedy by Ryoko Kyoi. You see how I just butchered that name? I'm so sorry. This is a great anime. That's just first and foremost. It was probably the second best anime of last season. It's still continuing behind Frieren. Frieren just took over everything. But Dungeon Meshi was a breath of fresh air. I comedically said that another anime was the rebirth of like fantasy. I said like a season before that fantasy is coming back, like real fantasy, not like isekai fantasy. But it's back. And with the announcement of Dungeon Meshi so many months ago, I realized that there is still breath for this genre. There's still an ability for this genre to captivate. It just needs people to reapproach it and not take the easy way out with the isekai self-insert drama that was. Like, I'm glad fantasy is back.
やめろバカ者！
なんで？
火の実まで魔法で吹き飛ばすつもりか。
If you couldn't tell, I'm a fan of fantasy. Like, I read mainly fantasy books. That's the genre of things I'm mainly interested in. Fantasy has just always been enjoyable. And it wasn't interesting to me simply because it's another world. It was interesting because there were new rules in place. It was interesting because there was also a new way of showcasing life and giving you the ability to leave your own, but also be interested in something completely different from what you know. And Dungeon Meshi does that. This is basically about a party that goes into a dungeon looking for another party member and the adventures of them actually cooking dungeon food. And basically dungeon food is from the monsters. Like, it's actually hilarious, this concept, because it spawns from them having a lack of money and a lack of food, and they meet someone who basically eats anything that's in the dungeon, and they make these meals, and I actually want to eat half these things. I'm not as squeamish, but it's just like, some of this looks actually appetizing. The food looks good in the processes, and I'm pretty sure you can make like equivalents. I'm sure there's a cookbook somewhere. I'm just not paying enough attention, which I may get that and like try it out, because Dungeon Meshi is doing the damn thing, you know? This anime is animated by Studio Trigger, and you know how I feel about Studio Trigger. The way they have taken the source material and gave it life, the jokes, the facial expressions, all the characters look different. The author of this anime was very cognizant of how different characters should look different, feel different, have different eyes, have different facial features. All of our characters are just different, a wide range of different characters. This feels like a real fantastical world, and it helps the world building, the different habits of the different characters, their reasons for what they're wearing, what they're doing. All these different things play a part within this anime, and it makes it that more interesting. And our main characters are Laios, which is a human knight, Marciel, I'm butchering all these names like usual, and she's an elf wizard or magician, and then Chilchuk, who is a half-foot, and he specializes in traps. And then there's Senshi, our actual cook, who is basically just wants to feed everyone great freaking food, and he is adorable. He is everything that this anime encapsulates, but it's so enjoyable. And our party is looking for Laios' sister, Faline. And God, I'm butchering all these names, but I'm just so excited to tell you about Dungeon Meshi. Dungeon Meshi was without a doubt a great anime and continues to be episode to episode. It has a tonal shift when it gets to its new season. Its season ender was encapsulating everything, the humor, the hilarity. It added the drama. This anime encapsulates so many different great things.
いやどこだよ頸動脈。
ちょっと失礼。立て。
Like, if only Freerun wasn't around, this would be undisputed number one. You know what? Screw it. This is AB and Freerun is A1. Like, they're just both great, and I had so much fun watching them. And we need more anime like this, bro. This is the anime that like destroys your favorite anime list. And I know so many different people. Like, I know people are gonna have a real great introduction to anime if they watch this. Like, this is definitely one of those animes. If you were going to introduce anyone to anime, this would be the anime. This is an anime that is so approachable, so fun, so enjoyable. The comedy is like actually funny. Like, sometimes comedy doesn't land, but this comedy lands. The jokes about our characters, about the monsters that they're meeting, and also the way they solve problems. Because our party is not the best. Like, they're not the most powerful, they're not the most amazing, but they're resourceful and they know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and they play off of it, and they make it accessible for them to get through the dungeon. And the way they solve problems, the way they deal with things, it's so inventive. And one of the things I enjoy about this anime is it only takes place in one area. We only really experience the dungeon. Now the dungeon is vast and has different things going on, but it's just one area, and I'm not tired of this area. The world is bright and beautiful when we do get to see some of it before we do get to the dungeon. The interesting ways magic is being employed, how parties work, and how like death is still ever present, but it's not like the biggest detractor from dungeon hunting and all these other things, and how that magic works, and how death has its ability to be circumvented with magic, but there's also pluses and minuses to using that magic. And then the introduction of the concepts of like black magic. There's so many great things about this anime that I'm going to talk about this for a little bit of a while. And Dungeon Meshi is still continuing, so you should definitely go watch it if you haven't. But I just couldn't believe such an anime came in and was so well done. Like, hats off to Studio Trigger for taking this anime and elevating it. Like, it's totally interesting, the jokes, everything. I'm pretty much repeating myself at this point, but I'm just really excited. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing wonderful. I have my last presentation and I'm officially done, and I have my BFA. 4 years just went just like that. Anyway, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for watching. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. If you are here, please like, comment, and subscribe. That would be much appreciated. Be well, take care of yourself, and I hope you're enjoying this wonderful spring day. Peace.